Hey all, this photography lesson is on reducing noise in our images. I have this following the lesson on ISO because we learned that if you have a high ISO, you're going to have more noise in your image. So there may be times when you're juggling and you can't decide quite what ISO to use, because the lower ISOs are sharp images, but sometimes you need a higher ISO at night in order to capture the image, and so there's a little fine line there, and when you don't quite get it right in the camera, there are tools in Photoshop Elements to help us fix that noise. Now I have a picture here I took some time ago of downtown Cape Girardeau. They were having some sort of thing at night. I think it was a music festival where you could go in various buildings and listen to music, and I had taken this shot just of the downtown, and of course it was very late at night, and I actually didn't know much about ISO at the time when I shot this, so I got me a nice noisy photo to work with. So I want you to go out there and try to get a photo that has noise in it. Try to get one purposefully with noise in it to play with. If you can't capture one, when we want something, we can't get it. That's like when I go shopping. When I want to go buy a new shirt, I can't find one I like. But when I'm not really looking for one, there's always one right there. So if you can't manage to get one, maybe look through your stash, look for a photo that you mistakenly got a lot of noise on, look for those darker photos that you may have taken, or in the alternative, if you have to, you can, for this case since we're playing, I'm going to duplicate this. You can go to Filter, Noise, and Add Noise to your photo. This is not going to be, real noise, but if you have to, you can do that. In order to do this lesson, kind of a cheat way there. I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to show you on the edge of this building here, right in here, there is actually a lot of noise. If you zoom in, you can see that it has a lot of what we call JPG artifact in it. Over here on the pillows on this pillar, you can really see it very well. Can you see the noise here? It's supposed to look nice and clean. You're going to see the difference before and later, but there's a lot of noise right here on this pillar, and we're going to be focusing in on that a lot. So have I accidentally moved my image? I wanted them to stay perfectly in line, so I reduplicated it for us to play with. And as I showed you, under Filter, Noise, there is the Add Noise filter, but the remaining ones under here are to reduce noise, to take away noise. And I'm not going to go into great detail for each, because I think most people, what they do is they get out there and they play with them, and that just till you get the right result. But we will review them briefly. Now, despeckle, there's not a lot you can do with despeckle, and it's basically you got to have the right image, so you can try it and it kind of does its own thing. There's no controls, so we're going to zoom in here on our pillar to see what it did, and I'm going to do a before by using the invisibility eye, and after, and you can see it actually did a pretty good job of taking away a lot of that noise. There's all the noise. I'm going to zoom in really far so you can see, because I'm not sure with the videotaping how well the smaller screen you can see it. So there it gets rid of the noise, and there's the original with the noise. So you can see it didn't do too bad, and you know, if you wanted, you could go and just run it again and keep running it until it got rid of the noise. That's not one I use very often, but it can work. Okay, so we're going to zoom back in here on this wonderful pillar and go to the next one, and that is dust and scratches. Now, I use dust and scratches a lot, but my main purpose for dust and scratches is scanned images. When I scan in my images, sometimes there's dust on the glass. I can never seem to get it clean enough, and the dust on the glass will actually, you know, pick up onto the photo, and you will see, you know, just random pieces of dust all over. So this image isn't the best for dust and scratches, but they'll be just, oh, the whole thing will just seem like it's picked up little bitty dots random all over the thing, but not really next to each other or close to each other. And this filter, you got to be careful, because it can make your image too blurred. Let's go ahead and call it up. It can make your image too blurred. Actually, let's zoom out. It can make your image too blurred, so you got to be careful not to do it too much. You got to find that right compromise. And so in this case, we can even zoom in here. I wonder if I could get right in on that pillar. Where's the pillar? There it is. So here's the pillar, and you know when these filters work, when you click down on them with your mouse, you see the before, and when you let go, you see the after. And so right now, this is the effect even just one pixel is making. Now generally what you would do is you would raise the radius up until your dust disappears. Now I'm also getting a preview out here, that's why I zoomed out, and you can see what this did. Here's my original image, and how much, even just going up to 8 or even a little bit more, just 18 totally blurs the image out. You can't tell what it is anymore. And so this is a really sensitive one. So what you would do is you would move this up just until your dust and scratches disappeared, and then you would move the threshold to bring back the details. So, you know, I could go way up here and then see if I could bring back any of the details, but now you look at the stuff we're getting out here. Just not good. Not good. So this is best used in moderation, and I'm gonna just pick something because we don't have the right photo to use for this, and show you the before and the after. It took away, well, I don't know what that is on the wall there. It took away all those little dots all over the wall. So not too bad. Let's get rid of that, and we're going to duplicate this again to play with. Let's go look at the next one, and that happens to be the median. Now median is better for this type of image where you are, you know, getting rid of the noise. I couldn't think of the word. Can you imagine that? All over the entire image, you know, as opposed to, you know, little particles of dust scattered, because this thing, the whole image is pretty well dusted with noise. and I'm going to hit median, and what this does, there's not a whole lot of controls, but it will compare pixels, and if it finds something that is noise, it will replace that pixel with a median or average color of the pixels around it. So it's actually, changing the color of that pixel based on the color of the pixels around it. And so you can see quickly how it got my whole image blurred. Goodness, if we go up here, you probably can't even tell what my image is. So this, I'm sure there's some reason for that. It might make a good background, but this is also best used in moderation. And remember, you can click down and hold up to see a before and after. And actually, to keep most of my details, I'm going to keep this real low. I've got it on 3, and we're going to zoom into that pillar, and here is the before with all that noise, and here is the after. So that one did quite a good job. It tried to keep some of this stuff on the wall, whatever that is. But if you look here, let's focus in on this area, before and after. You see how on the before we have a lot of sharpness on the balloons and highlights from the lights, and the after we have lost that because it has blurred. So these are all choices that you need to make to decide what is important to you in your photo. So I'm going to duplicate that again, and we're going to go in here and use the last one, which is the one you probably want to go straight to. And it brings up this pop-up box, and we're going to move over to our pillar, and there's our before and after. Let's zoom in a little bit more. I like that this is nice and big, unlike the other ones. So there's our before and there's our after. I'm going to take and start with these sliders all the way down and have that unchecked. Okay, before and after, it's not doing anything. We're going to move up the strength until it kind of smooths out, and then we're going to preserve the details. This is kind of like the other one that we were doing, the dust and scratch, only it's doing the same thing, only it's called different. I forgot what the dust and scratch called, that second slider already, but basically we're going to move to kind of bring back details. Of course, we have preview checked here, which means we can also peek out here at our image to see what it's doing. But you can see as you bring back some of the detail, you get more of the artifacts. So as long as I'm not losing too much of it out here, I'm pretty good. Before, after. Now reduce color noise. Color noise, and I know you've seen images that are this way. Color noise is where you get color that doesn't belong there at all. Like, I have had pictures of, people, and there'll be little pixels of purple all over their nice peachy skin, and I'm like, why did those go there? Well, that's color noise. And what color noise is color noise is created during compression. So JPEG files, all of them are compressed. If you don't want a compressed file, you shoot in RAW. But in your camera settings, you probably have seen some compression, some sizes, some choice of sizes, like, okay, this used to be a bigger deal. I remember when in older cameras, with the amount of EHD storage and things nowadays, people generally just keep it on the highest setting. But they used to say, well, to conserve space, on your little bitty disc in your camera. You may want to lower this setting to a, something that's going to make your file size smaller. So you still have the same, size photo, let's say 4 by 6 or whatever it is, but the file size itself is lower because you have compressed it, so it takes up less room on your disk. And so they usually have 3 or 4 different settings in your camera where you can change the JPEG compression, but they might not call it that, but they change it to make the size smaller. Sometimes it's deceiving and they don't call it compression because that confuses novices. And so what happens is the more you compress it, the more you get color noise. So even if you use the highest setting and you don't compress it all that much, that may cause color noise. So if you have color noise, colors that don't belong there, brought on by compression, you can move this slider to try to get rid of them. And let's see, I am going to bring this all the way back because I'm going to observe my image out here and see if it's not hurting it. So now I'm going to observe here and I'm going to zoom in. And do you see the green here? Especially on the original. The green, I don't think it's supposed to be there. And you watch as I go up on the slider, that green disappears. And now everything is the same color. So I'm actually going to move that all the way up because I'm also looking out here. And this particular slider does not seem to be hurting anything out there. So the next thing I'm going to do is remove the JPEG artifact. And this is also caused, I believe, from the compression. I'm pausing here because I may have confused color noise with JPEG artifact. But let's zoom in, and here we go, the before and the after. Let's actually take that color noise all the way down, and let's do, I'm trying to get this so you can see it better, without removing the JPEG artifact and with removing the JPEG artifact. And so you can see that that definitely makes a big difference. And then I can get rid of my color noise. I actually don't know if I have to go all the way up with my color noise because that green disappears somewhere about right in here. So anyway, so here's before and here's after. And I'm going to click OK and watch it work on my image, and bammo, bammo whammo. Here is zoomed out before and after, which you can't see a whole lot of difference, which is good because we want to keep everything sharp. You can see here, we'll zoom in on the balloons and you'll remember what the median one did to the balloons. So here is the before, and you can see it does take away a little bit of the shine on some of the balloons and a little bit of the sharpness, but I think it's okay. And our last test, let's go in here to this pillar, and did I accidentally move my photo? I did, zooming in. Okay, and here is the before with all that noise and the after. So you can see that really worked well, getting rid of all that noise. And so that's about it for this lesson. It's a little longer than I thought it would be, but there are several filters that we have reviewed. And so for this lesson, I want you to get your images, and if you want, you see how this is not too different before and after, which is good. That's what you want. If you want to show me a before and after like this, maybe create like a page, and then on the left put the full photo like I have here, before and after, to show how, looking at the whole photo, see, this is not changed much. That is really good. And then zoom in and crop out a certain area, and like this, and do a before and after, and put that maybe on the right side, a zoomed in. So you have 4 images: the full photo on the left with the before and after, and the zoomed in portion, just cropped. I'll do it real fast so you understand what I mean, because then I'm going to have to show it to you anyway. And so I am going to bring over this layer. Whoops, I guess it would help if I were... What tool am I on? So I am going to bring on image, how do I get just the one layer? I think I know. It's blocked. That's what my problem is. Okay, now I can bring my layer over. I'm going to bring over, this is the first one, the before, and now I'm going to go back to this one and grab my after and bring it up. And so now in my new image I have my before and after, which is way too big. So I am going to reduce them, and the top one is the after and the before, so I'm going to show you that they haven't changed much. And then I'm going to zoom in on the before right here and find a little bit of an area that actually like that I can make a selection of, and I'm actually going to do a fixed ratio 1:1, and I'm gonna get this section, what have I done, and I'm gonna Control J it out of here. I must hit the wrong key. Cannot make a new layer from the selection because no pixels. Well, why is that? We're on this layer. Control J. Things are not working my way. I'm on the wrong one. Control J, and I'm going to take that and go up here and do the same thing, about the same area, and this time Control J. And now I'm going to go get these 2 layers and bring, oops, this was supposed to be easy. You're laughing at me now. This layer and this layer, and bring them over, and probably bring them closer. I did not mean for this to take so long. Now I'm going to resize both. Resize. Okay. You can do whatever you want to show me. because this obviously is seeming more complicated. You do it however you want, but this is kind of what I was going after. Um, if I'm resizing them together. Whoa! Okay, silly me. I'm resizing them together even though they're cropped differently, so that they are the same zoom level. And so now I can easily see that how the before has so much and the after, actually, because I've blown it up so much, it doesn't look very effective either. Anyway, do what you want to show me. Just do it. I'll give you credit. Tell me what you learned. Have fun.